Hey guys, Ken Scott, Senior, U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst with www.usentryWaiverServices.com. Let us get you cleared to enter the USA. Today is February 15th, 2025, and I'll try to make this fairly quick. You find it here. I think the topic for today's video is going to be how to get a U.S. entry waiver and steps to enter the USA if you're inadmissible. So how to get a U.S. entry waiver and steps to enter the USA if you're inadmissible. So let's just give you a condensed version. So if you're inadmissible for criminality, and not every crime requires a waiver, but if you're inadmissible for criminality, you would need a waiver. If you're inadmissible for an immigration violation, you would need a waiver. So let's kind of stick with those two areas. If you have a relevant criminal conviction, you need a U.S. entry waiver. Some of you guys have a habit of going down to that border and still trying your luck. That's not going to work. If you're inadmissible for a relevant criminal conviction, you need a U.S. entry waiver. So the step to take basically, well, the big thing is to come to us. We do pretty much everything. But we need certain items from you. We need certain items from the U.S. government. Well, the government, be it U.S. or Canadian. We need certain things from other sources. And then based upon that, we put together the packet to show why you should be approved for your waiver. I'm trying not to go into too many detailed steps because the problem is a lot of these discount waiver companies, they come to our channel, try to reverse engineer it and use things to keep their lights on. And it's so hard to get around that at times. So we have to keep things somewhat vague. We cannot really give too much detail. So first of all, if you're inadmissible, if you want to know the steps, the first thing is, if you're inadmissible, it's better to come to us. Let us put together this waiver packet, get you sorted out proper. Because if you don't, you try crossing that border, let's say a land border, you know you're inadmissible. The officer knows that you know you're inadmissible. You can make this a whole lot worse. And I don't want to tell you the unpleasant things they can do to you. If you're trying to fly out from YVR to, let's say, Vegas, you're inadmissible. You know you're inadmissible. He knows you know. You're going to have trouble. But at that point, you're on Canadian soil, so what they can do to you is limited. But they can really screw you up with that computer, guys. So you guys don't take chances with this stuff. This stuff is nothing to play around with. First step is to come to us. Let us analyze the problem. We're going to ask you for some relevant information, relevant data, and relevant supplements. We're going to put everything together. Have you go down to one of the borders that we preferably deal with. Present the documentation, pay the government fee, done. None of this BS, e-safe, whatever. It's old school paper. Because e-safe does not make this stuff any faster, guys. It does not make it any faster whatsoever. So we're going to do the paper method, get this thing submitted, you pay the government fee. Simple as that. But the first step is we need to analyze the problem. And we can't do that until you contact us. And you can contact us by calling 604-562-8140 or just going to our website, just email us from there. And I mean, you guys already know how to find us. It's all on the YouTube channel, all over social media. You guys know who we are. You guys know who I am. So another thing too regarding the steps, it's different steps for different things too. So it's really kind of hard to say. Like, for example, someone has an offense for child sex trafficking. Those steps to get that cleared are different than someone who has a conviction for stealing a car. I mean, it's a different approach, different angle. Someone has a conviction or immigration violation for using a fake passport to get into the U.S. or fake info on a visa application. That has to be approached differently as well, as opposed to the person that had the sex trafficking. Someone has child molestation, that has to be approached differently than even someone maybe with the child sex trafficking. So it's, just imagine a hall with, I don't know, 50, 60 doors. You got to know which door to open, which door not to open. If you open the wrong one, you might be opening the door to hell, literally. Or you could be opening a door full of cobras. Or you could open another door that has literally, I don't know, $10 million in it for you. So you got to know which door to open, which door not to open, because a lot of times when you open certain doors, you cannot just close it. You're screwed. So you got to know which door to open, and you got to know how to open it. That's another thing too. That's why you guys pay us the big bucks to figure all that stuff out for you. That's our job. It's our job to get you cleared. So once we get you cleared to enter the USA, you're gonna be so happy. You're gonna go to all your friends and say, you know what? Need to go see Ken Scott at US Entry Waiver Services Ltd. Limited. So all right, guys, quick video. I normally like to do them much longer, but I'm finding that I have to do shorter ones. So some of you guys have a short attention span. So it's Ken Scott, Senior, U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst with www.usentrywaiverservices.com. It's 888-908-3841 or 604-562-8140. So guys, we may come back to this topic again. So I got to try to find some things we can squeeze in here maybe that are still somewhat helpful, but doesn't help these discount waiver companies or lawyers. Because we have the DHS regs and manuals and supplements, and they do not. And me being a former law enforcement officer that was formerly posted in Washington State and who formerly also worked for the US government, guys, getting these files, pushed through is for us, it's a no-brainer. It's as simple as, for us anyway, it's as simple as opening the door and closing the door. So we know how to open the doors for you to enter the USA. Remember, Ken Scott signing out.